Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1490A, and today's date is February 5th, 2018, and the title of the episode is The Market Just Erased All of the 2018 Gains. Distraction? Watch gold and cryptos. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, as we can see, the market has come down. Now, Friday, it came down something like 666 points. Today, it came down even more, and it looks like it erased the 2018 gains already. Now, people are looking at this and saying, well, is this the crash, or is this just a tiny correction? What is this? And we have all these different financial pundits coming out and giving us their explanation, where they're saying that, yes, this is a tiny little correction, there's plenty of money on the side, it's going to go back up, but we know that this system is completely manipulated. We know that the system is controlled. And what I see the corporate media doing right now is they're pushing the idea that people are starting to panic, that people are saying, oh my God, I better get out of the market. What we need to do is we need to watch the crypto market and especially the gold market, because what people normally do when things like this happen is they rush out and they pour it into gold, something that is safe. And right now, I am not seeing that. Now, we've seen gold go up a little bit. You know, it's hovering around the $1,300 change area, but it really hasn't moved. Now, come this evening, the other markets around the world, China, Europe, and the rest, might all of a sudden drop, and we might see more individuals head into gold, but this is a good indicator to let us know where we are headed. And we can see right now that the crypto market is starting to move up once again. It dropped down to a very low point, and it's starting to push its way back up. Now, is this the crash of all crashes as of yet? Well, we need to remember one thing that's very important, is that this system is completely controlled by a push of a button, by having central banks purchase stock, by having the plunge protection purchase even more stock. So what we're seeing right now is something that they didn't expect, and the market came down, and they didn't push the buttons, they didn't get everything moving in the right direction, and most likely, and I'm thinking that tomorrow, the next day, we'll start to see the market creep up a little bit, and all of a sudden people will say, whoo, we're out of the stock market crash, and they'll call this, a 3, 4, 5% type of correction. It might drop a little bit more, but most likely we will see this. Now, it looks like the corporate media is out there trying to push a panic to have the whole thing come down. Now remember, there is a huge fight between the central bank system and the Trump administration. The cabal is integrated within the central bank system. They would like everyone to feel the pain that they're feeling right now. And the only way to do that is to bring the system down. Now, this could be a distraction from everything else that's been going on, because now this is on the news, it's the headline news, and we might see this continue on a couple of days where the market drops a little bit and then it starts moving back up. Now, we'll have to wait to see how this really turns out, and that's why we're watching gold and the cryptos. But one thing I need to say is, look how quickly everything can turn around. And this is what we've been talking about all along, where people are saying, well, look, it's going up and up and up, I don't feel it. Now, let's say this was the crash. Let's say tomorrow it comes down another 1,000 points and another 1,000 points, and all of a sudden corporations and people start to realize what is happening. At what point in time, if you're not prepared, do you start to go out and get prepared? Well, it looks like you're going to be a little too late, because you'll be sitting here going, is this the crash? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't get prepared. And all of a sudden, everything starts to fall apart, and you're not prepared at all for what is really happening. And we can see this can catch you by surprise. This is what we've been talking about, because you will have no time to get the things that you need. If this was truly the crash and the market drops another 2,000, another 5,000 points tomorrow, people are going to realize this. They're going to take their funds, put it into gold, and guess what? Gold is going to rise very, very quickly. People are going to run to the market, get whatever they possibly can, because all of a sudden we're going to see inflation. And as the market comes down, people are going to be very upset. People are going to be losing their jobs. Corporations are going to be setting up red flares saying, hey, we're going to have to start laying people off. And this can happen very, very quickly. And we can see right now, just in the matter of Friday and today, Monday, how much the market came down and how quickly it came down. We can see that it does happen very, very fast. Now, the banks are reporting that they have a weaker demand for auto loans and residential mortgages. We know that interest rates are pushing up right now, and we understand that the everyday person, well, they're tapped out. The everyday person, they're losing their jobs. 100,000 jobs are going to be lost in the retail industry. And believe me, the online industry is not taking up the slack. And there's a lot of commercial real estate out there. There's a lot of debt that is due. We're adding more and more debt. Actually, the U.S. Treasury is set to borrow nearly $1 trillion this year. And what we're seeing right now, it has not let up at all. Governments around the world have to continually take on more and more debt to keep everything operational. And the debt is not decreasing, it's increasing rapidly. And you know, as you increase the debt and there's less tax money coming into the government, there's less funding of the government. As the interest rates go up, as the debt goes up, it completely cannot be sustained. And this is what we're seeing right now. The system is falling apart. Even with the tax cuts and everything like this, it's actually going to make it even worse in the long run. Yes, in the short run, we're going to see a lot of funds come into the country, and this is being done on purpose to prepare us for the transition. Because what do we need for the transition? Think about it. We need to bring the currency back here to the U.S. so corporations can create and build their infrastructure for the new currency system. We need manufacturing back in this country. If we're going to have manufacturing back in this country, maybe it's not the same manufacturing we had back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Yes, it's going to change a little bit. We need a different infrastructure. If we're going to join the One Belt, One Road, which I believe we're going to join, I think NAFTA is out the door here. I don't think they're going to come to any type of an agreement. We don't have the TPP. We don't have any of that stuff. We're not going to be the reserve currency of the world anymore. So we need to build our infrastructure completely different. Actually, it's crumbling to pieces right now, and we need to build it once again in a different fashion to be in line with the new trade system. We're moving into a new currency. Most likely the U.S. will not be the reserve currency of the world. And we can see right now that all of this is being done preparing the United States for this new type of system. And to get to this new type of system, we're going to have to go through a little pain. Just like everything else, when people go through bankruptcy, when something closes and something else opens up, there's always this small portion of pain that people have to go through. Now, the pain can be severe or the pain can be minimal. And what we're hoping for is a minimal type of pain going through this transition. Now, the cabal, the central banking system, they don't really care. The central banking system, of course, they just want their new system to come online. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to have a new system. They want control of the currency. They don't want people using cryptocurrencies that they don't have control over. And they don't care if the system comes down hard. Makes no difference to them because they're creating the currency. They're always in control. And they don't care how many people get wiped out. It makes no difference to them. On the other hand, the Trump administration, those individuals that are in government right now, are trying to prepare the entire country for this soft transition into the new system. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go well, everything's going to be easy. Think about the 70s. We were the reserve currency. We were backed by gold. We had a very little bit of debt at that time. We went on to a new system, the petrodollar. Pretty much the same dollar as it was before, but it just wasn't backed by gold anymore. For a time being, for a number of years, we couldn't get fuel. We couldn't get certain supplies. People had a very difficult time finding jobs. But we were coming on to a brand new system, coming off a stable system, and they were creating currency like crazy. This is why we saw the devaluation of the dollar. This is why you saw inflation. This is why you saw them raise interest rates. We're on the back end now, where the system is coming to an end. The reserve currency is going to be someplace else, a different currency system. And we're at record low interest rates, and wages are declining. Compared to the 70s, when we were coming on to the petrodollar, wages were increasing. House prices were increasing. We saw inflation. Now we don't see that. We don't see the same thing happening. Yes, we do see inflation because the dollar is devaluing. And actually, when we get to the end of this system, we will start to see hyperinflation, because what the banks will start to do, what the central banks will start to do, is they will create currency like crazy. And this will devalue the dollar. The dollar currency will come back from all these different countries when everyone switches to the new reserve currency. They will not need the dollar anymore, and we will see a flooding of the dollar. And in between this time, when we see the flooding of the dollar, we will see inflation, but they will also be preparing us for this new currency system. Now, is this going to be a people-run currency system, or is it going to be a central bank currency-run system? This is the big question. And once again, you need to be prepared for this. How do you weather the storm? How do you survive this? Well, think about those individuals that were in the Great Depression at the time. Those individuals that held on to their gold, it was worth, $20 an ounce. And when the government basically repriced gold, it was $35 an ounce. So they had 20, and back then, that was quite a bit of money. And it was repriced to $35 an ounce. Guess what? If they had maybe 10 ounces, 5 ounces, whatever it was, they made out. Same thing today. We see gold at $1,300 and change. Maybe you purchased it at $1,400. Maybe you purchased it at $1,100. When it is repriced, guess what? It will be repriced to the new currency. Remember, the precious metals market has been manipulated. It's been suppressed on purpose to make everyone stay away from the precious metals market. Cryptos are going to also be repriced. Yes, we see them skyrocketing now, but they're also going to be repriced. So wherever we're going or whatever we're doing, we're going to go through this transition. And you need to be ready and prepared. And when we see inflation, hyperinflation, and when credit starts to freeze up, because what is happening here, you need to have food, you need to have supplies, you need to be ready so you don't run to the market, so you're not running around looking for your supplies, and you're not prepared for what is coming, because most of the people are going to be pushing people out of the way to get their stuff. Now, as we watch this, we need to keep an eye on gold, we need to watch the crypto market, we need to watch the VIX. Right now, after the market is closed, the short VIX ETF, well, that's collapsing after hours, down a stunning 50%. And we can see right now that this is not a good sign. So we need to watch this very, very carefully. Many individuals were saying this was looking a lot like 2008 or 1987. And we can see right now we're in this period of time where we need to be ready and prepared, and we need to make sure that we are ready for anything that is going to happen. And once again, this is how quickly this stuff can happen. 1 minute everyone's living fantastically, saying this is great, the market's going up, and it's never going to fall, and the next minute, all of a sudden it comes down. And it comes down hard and fast. Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm not in the market, I don't really care, it makes no difference to me. But what happens here, if you're working for a corporation or a company that is in the market, a lot of times they use this as an excuse to start to lay off individuals. Remember, these companies have been buying back their stocks, they really haven't been making revenue, they haven't been making the sales, and they use this to start to cut costs, to start to restructure, as they like to call it, their entire company. And they like to shrink their companies, and they use this as an excuse. So once again, there's going to be a lot of people affected by this, and this is normally the red flare that is shot into the air to say, hey, we're done here. Even though the economy that we've been following this all along, has been falling apart all along. So once again, make sure you're prepared because we don't know exactly where this is going. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.